For an update, we are joined on the line by Baokai Fofana. He is Liberia Bureau Chief All Africa Global Media. Thanks for joining us, Boakai. Now, how do ordinary Liberians feel like on a day like this?
Well, it's just a festive period for most Liberians. You find kids dressed up in their attires. Adults see their entertainment spots. Some of them are barbecuing, other people visiting friends. But the official ceremony is actually taking place in the southeastern county of Sino, which is some 360 kilometers away from Monrovia, where the president and her entourage are, along with some dignitaries, members of the international community, diplomatic corps, and what have you. That's where the official ceremony is taking place. The government has been keen to make sure that it decentralizes activities of the independence ceremony. It has been doing so in recent years, moving it from county to county. So this time around it's happening in Sino County.
Boakai, Liberia was the first independent African country. Sadly, to date, the IMF has placed Liberia among the top 23 poorest countries. How is government moving the country away from this?
You know, a lot of critics have cited some of those international reports. A lot of members of the opposition will cite those international reports from the IMF, but not just from the IMF, but also maybe Transparency International or Global Witness, and what I view as evidence that the government isn't doing much to improve the lives of the citizenry, and there's been a lot of those coming in recent times. But the government and its officials have usually countered saying that it has maintained a level of peace for the past decade, and you should remember that Liberia has had 14 years of civil conflict. So some of the times when those things are placed on the radio, the ordinary people, in fact, some of the times ordinary people and members of the opposition, officials of the government will say, well, we've had peace for over 10 years. We've had a free press, a press environment that has blossomed. You know, we have the respect for the rule of law. We have human rights. We don't have a lot of human rights violations, and these they may not be quantifiable for them. That's what they say. They may not be quantifiable, but these are issues that put us on the way to having a sustainable peace for years to come.
Meaning Land of Freedom, Liberia must be happy once again for its people to celebrate this day without the fear of the deadly Ebola epidemic. Is this being celebrated?
Yeah, you know, last year I remember about this time the number of Ebola cases were increasing around the country. I equally remember that it was just about this time that Liberia exported its first Ebola case to neighboring countries, specifically Nigeria. And what happened as a result of that was that aircraft and other airlines were abandoning the Liberian routes. And in order to be seen as serious by members of the international community, the Liberian government started to take some measures, including the deployment of the armed forces of Liberia in the streets of Monrovia. So that was the first time we saw army personnel, you know, the newly formed army in Liberia in the streets of Monrovia. So it's a far cry from what happened last year to now. Now we have, in fact, it's just festivity. The streets are quiet, but not because of Ebola, because even the taxi drivers are home with family members. You know, entertainment centers are packed. The kids are just going home now after spending the days in the streets. So historically, Liberia celebrates the 26th with a lot of festivity. Not just Liberians at home, but Liberians abroad as well. There are reports that Liberians even in the U.S. are celebrating.
Now, you have critics complaining of interference of Western countries in Liberia's internal affairs. What's the feeling around that?
Yeah, that has come up a lot, and that has come up usually on radio talk shows and what have you. But I should say that Liberia doesn't seem to, lately at least, doesn't seem to have a strong, cohesive opposition that speaks cohesively on issues. So some of the times you hear these from either members of the opposition or members of civil society or other groups, and they usually say exactly like you say, that the government does not prioritize. That the government sort of prioritizes the interest or the benchmark set by international organizations, multilateral institutions, sometimes bilateral institutions, as opposed to prioritizing the interests of the citizenry. So these accusations have come up a lot, and I'm not sure how the government has responded in recent times, but it's been coming up a lot. A few times you hear them say that, in fact, they definitely need to collaborate with these institutions, because, in fact, that is how, as much as they are sort of domestically or mobilizing resources, but they also get direct budgetary support from these multilateral institutions, including the IMF and the World Bank.
Just finally, Boakai, we're running out of time, but how is the opposition arguing for the country to be taken forward?
Okay, I mean, we have an election coming up in 2017. So a lot has been said by the opposition community about the governance issue. They cite corruption some of the times. They cite misgovernance. I mean, rule of law issues or what have you. A lot of opposition members have cited sometimes, in fact, accusing the government of the first family of misapplying official powers and what have you. But some of them say that some of them cite that they have better alternatives. Some of them have been citing that they can better move the country forward, and they think that the country is in a quagmire, and that they have the better alternatives to be moved forward. And there are a lot of members of the opposition community. We have, prominent amongst them is the soccer legend George Weah, who has the most, popular opposition grouping in Liberia called the Congress for Democratic Change.
We'll have to leave it there, Boakai. Thank you very much for joining us on Your World. That was Baokai Fofana, the Liberia Bureau Chief, All Africa Global Media, and he joined us as his home country celebrates independence.